This is my first time here at the Reading Trail Shoot. It's actually not really what I expected. I really came in with an open mind and no expectations, and I made a sight tape like last week, and I only registered like a month and a half ago.
If you're coming to Reading for your first time, you got to set an expectation for yourself that's realistic, and then you got to prepare yourself and your equipment.
First, you need to start practicing distance. I think that's super important, again, because there are some farther targets. But as far as your setup goes, your third axis is important.
Bring shorts, bring pants, bring rain gear. You don't know what kind of weather you're going to get. Bring lots of arrows. You may need them.
Number one, make sure you have a good sight tape if you're using adjustable sight tape, or you have a very good understanding of pins if you're one of those types of shooters.
I think for the pin shooters who are shooting the hunting setup, the 4 is something that they definitely need to practice ahead of time, because you can't aim with your 20. Depending on your speed of your bow, you're going to end up using probably your 30 or your 40, and if they don't know that, you can miss by a lot. And so I think this course is very strategically made up of targets that are difficult to maybe one division and not as difficult to another, and I think that that makes it really cool too.
And the best thing to do is get your marks here in Reading. It's hotter than a lot of places this time of year, or elevation is probably different from where you're from. So Wednesday I get here and I start getting sight marks and sight tape, and usually that gets me on the dot early on.
One thing on your setup that you really want to check and make sure is comfortable is your draw length. I can actually get away with a lot longer draw length shooting indoor and FIDA because it's on a flat distance. But when you go to shoot uphills and downhills, that long draw length is really not okay. And so I actually start with a little bit shorter draw length going into a tournament like this than I would shooting on just flat ground, knowing that I need that to execute strong shots in the hills. So I noticed shortening my draw length up, my sight picture moves a little quicker, but I'm able to execute those shots on up and down hills. So sometimes you have to sacrifice one area to do well in another, and that's just something that everyone kind of has to figure out as you come.
I like to keep a set of these at home, just the orange dots that are cut the same size as these for my personal practice. And when I'm preparing for Reading, what I like to do is find the max distance for that dot size. And if you buy a set of the practice dots, it's marked on there. So say the smallest dot, the max distance is 19 yards. I like to try to shoot that beyond its max distance, and I do that with each dot size. So if I'm shooting the 19-yard dot at 25 yards, that helps me aim a little more comfortably when I get here, and now I'm not shooting it on the flat, I'm shooting it up or down a hill, and I'm dealing with issues with aiming because of that. So that's my practice technique, just shoot each max distance a little further than max distance.
If you get here and your sight tape isn't on and your sight isn't leveled, you have no chance. So those are the first 2 things that have to be done for you to be able to play the game. After that, it's learning how to shoot up and down hills. And there's tricks in your form that you have to learn how to do, because if you don't do it correctly, your draw length changes, which changes everything. There's also tricks to shooting side hill targets that you need to learn. I'll just tell you, like let's say the hill's canted this way. What you actually want to do is draw your bow and cant that top cam into the hill and let the bow slowly come back out till the bubble is center. If you draw straight and force it, you're actually preloading the bow to kick it out when it goes off.
You can't come out here unprepared with sort of your energy level, and you've got to pack your bag right too, because these are really long days. You're talking about 6 hours, and sometimes people are out here for 8 hours. So you don't want to be hungry and thirsty sitting around waiting at targets.